Hey, everyone. I see we have several people in the chat, but I only see Stephanie talking. Um, Welcome, everyone. Let me know when you can hear me and see me. Sometimes, for some reason, there's like this really bad delay, and I don't know, my computer's been acting strange lately. So just make sure you guys let me know that you can hear me and you can see me. And we're going to talk about the Chrisleys. You guys know I'm a fan of the Chrisleys. Love Todd and Julie Chrisley. Love their family. Very sad when I found out that they were found guilty of tax fraud and uh, crimes related to money, things such as that. The time is approaching where they are supposed to surrender themselves to serve a pretty lengthy prison sentence. I mean, they're going from, living a life of luxury to now, they're going to be going to prison, Todd for 12 years, Julie for 7 years. So they have been doing everything in their power to put a stop to this. They went through the trial, they were found guilty, they were filing any document that they could to um, prolong at least this process to where they don't have to go to prison. They requested that if they were to be sentenced to prison, that they could have a staggered sentence. That way, it would keep, Todd would go first. He would serve his sentence, the 12 years, and then Julie would go after him. That way, at least one of the parents would be at home with Chloe and Grayson. But the judge would not allow that. The judge said, you did the crime, you're going to do the time at the same time. We're not going to stagger your sentence. And Savannah has had to step up to say, I'll take care of the kids. Now, Savannah is young. I mean, she's not a teenager, but she's in her early 20s. She, wants to go back to school. And now she's going to have to kind of devote her life to being a mom to a 16-year-old, as well as like, I think Chloe's 10 or 11. So this is going to change her life a good bit. It's going to take away her younger years of actually getting to live that normal 21, 22, 23-year-old lifestyle. Anyways, they've been doing everything that they can in their power to stop this, filing for appeals and stuff like that. It's so I read this when I was kind of reading over like how Todd's life will change once he's in prison. I came across this article that actually said that his attorney, in a last ditch effort to kind of put off this, has filed a motion asking for bail pending his appeal. So what that is saying, so Todd is supposed to turn himself in, right? I think he's supposed to turn himself in. Let me double check this. It's less than 3 weeks. On January 17th, he is supposed to turn himself in to prison where he will, start his 12-year prison sentence. And he's supposed to report to federal prison camp in Pensacola, Florida. And that's where he's going to serve his time. So he's supposed to turn himself in there. What his attorney is requesting, his attorney has filed a motion basically saying when he turns himself in on that day, that a judge give him a bail, and that if he can post that bail, then he will get out of jail and live at home, be able to go home until the appeals process takes place. And, not even once it starts, but once there's an answer on the appeal, if they can have a new trial, if they're granted a new trial, and if that trial goes through, if they're found innocent or guilty after that. So his attorneys have really been pulling out all the stops to try to keep this man and his wife out of prison. Anything that they can file, they're filing it. And I've never even heard of this, you guys. I mean, obviously, it's something that can happen, but I've never heard of when you turn yourself in to serve out your sentence because you were found guilty, your judge saying, well, we have filed an appeal, so can we at least get a bond and get him back home while we wait to see if we're going to get an appeal? I don't know how normal that, not normal, but how common that is. And I feel like if it was too common, then Josh Duggar, that would have happened with Josh Duggar. Like somebody would have, his attorneys would have did that when he was sentenced. They would have said, okay, he's been sentenced. We're filing an appeal. We have 14 days to file the appeal. Can we get a bond and get him out? Never heard of this. So, but that's what they're saying. I don't even know if this is a new maneuver that they're just trying as a way to get. No, Renee. Well, I don't think he could get more time. I don't think. I don't think they could get more time. Like, say they're granted, they're approved for an appeal, and they go through another trial, and they're found guilty again. Could they get? I think their sentence would be there's it would be what they wouldn't go through another sentencing. I think if they were granted a new trial and found guilty, it would be like, okay, and you were sentenced to 12 years, so go do your time. This is a white collar crime. It's different than Josh. Got an attorney in the house. I can ask. I don't think we have any attorney here, but it definitely is a different crime. So, but when it comes to, does it matter what the crime is? Like legalities, like when it comes to the motions that you can file when you're going up to trial or when you've been found guilty and you got to turn yourself in, does it matter what the crime is versus like what's allowed? Okay. Yeet Master 3000 said they would just uphold the same sentence, which is what I thought. Yes, he can if he wins the appeal and found guilty in another court. Oh, got an attorney in the house. You have an attorney in your house. Got you have an attorney in your house? Is that what you're asking? Oh, it does matter what the crime is. Like based off like what an attorney is allowed to do, like what they're allowed to file. I mean, I guess so. I'm not. I took law studies in high school, so I don't remember anything that I learned back then, and it was not even anywhere near what you would need to know to really dive into something like this. I've never heard of it. How common is asking for a bond? What sentencing? Okay, an appeal bond in a federal case is legally possible, but the defendant pursuant. Let me read this. So I do know that Josh's case was a federal case as well as Todd and Julie Chrisley's, but they were very different in like what kind of crime it was. This was, um, crime related to money, and Josh's crime was crime related to children. So okay, I have a question, Aspen. Could Josh's attorney have done this? Could his attorneys could have said, you know what? Um, he's been sentenced on the day that actually he was already in prison. But on the day that he was sentenced, could they have said, well, can we get a bond? Could they have filed an appeal bond then? Because I've never heard of this, so I'm very unfamiliar with this. Let's see what it says. It says an appeal bond in a federal case is legally possible, but the defendant, pursuant to 18 USC, must demonstrate by clear and convincing evidence that he or she is not likely to flee or pose a danger to any other person in the community. That might be exactly okay. So that might be Josh's was considered. He could be a danger to society, I guess you could say. Two, that the appeal is not taken for the purpose of delay and raises a substantial question of law or fact that likely will result in a reversal, a new trial, a sentence that does not include a term of imprisonment, or a reduced sentence to a term of imprisonment that is less than the time that he or she has already served, plus the time that the appellate process will take. Okay. Federal trial works. Federal trial work is a large portion of my practice, and bond pending federal appeal is an extremely rare occurrence. That's why we've never heard of it. It says that it is an extremely rare occurrence. The first question I would ask is whether he was on some form of pretrial release, and if so, what conditions was he under? The reason for the question is that the starting point for would any bond request would how well things went under pretrial circumstances. Okay, so he was on home confinement, so they may look back at that like, okay, he was on home confinement and he did well. So, maybe we will grant him a bond until we figure out, if he's going to get a new trial. The federal rules of appellate procedure permit release on bond pending appeal in both a direct appeal and a habeas corpus appeal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Um, let's see. Okay, so it's not very common, but it can happen. Josh was a flight risk at the very least. That's I'm actually shocked that Josh Duggar even got a bond to begin with. When Josh was arrested and he went to his first bond hearing, he got a bond and was able to go live with his third party custodian for months until the trial started. And I was actually shocked at that. Um, yeah, Josh had victims. Todd and Julie's case was essentially victimless. Josh was arrested too many people. He's scary, right? So okay, Aspen, what do you think? Do you think this could happen for Todd and Julie? That a judge could approve this motion and they will not have to turn themselves in until they get an answer as far as the appeal? What do you think about that? Honestly, I would kind of be elated. I know. When I cover Todd and Julie Chrisley and I talk about how I do like them, I got some people that's like, I know I like them too, and then I have other people that's like, shut up, they're criminals, and I'm like, it's not like they killed anyone, and I don't even know if I believe that they really did all this stuff. Um, I'm still going with were they framed? I think they were framed. I don't know. Were they framed? You know. So either way, that's what's happening. Last ditch effort to keep them out of prison. His attorney has filed um, a motion asking for bail pending his appeal. However, this will only happen in the event that the judge approves the motion and the appeal goes in Todd's favor. So technically, there is still a chance that Todd will not have to set foot in the federal Pensacola prison. Now, if he does, if he has to go to prison, this is what his life will be like, okay? According to TMZ, when Todd reports to the minimum security prison on January 17th, he will be forced to wear the same uniform as his fellow inmates. You guys know that's gonna kill Todd to have to dress like everyone else. It's gonna be green pants and a shirt. Kind of makes me think about what might the situation war. I have a feeling if he has filed this already for Todd on behalf of Todd, he's going to be filing this for Julie. I would have to imagine. White socks and black steel-toed boots. Todd's day will begin at 4:45 a.m. Breakfast will be served from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. By 6:30 a.m., Todd's bed will have to be made military style and his room will need to be completely cleaned. I bet he ain't gonna like that food in prison either, because that food ain't gonna be no fine dining like he's used to. Todd's workday will start by 7:30 a.m. and end between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., during which time he will work at one of the many potential prison employment positions. He will be a cook, or he can be a plumber, he can be a librarian, he can be a landscaper, a dishwasher, or a laundry worker. I don't know. I feel like he would be like a librarian. I don't know. Or a landscaper, maybe. I don't know. I really don't see him doing dishes or laundry. Maybe cooking. I don't know. Todd and his fellow inmates will eat lunch around 11 a.m. and eat dinner at 4:30 p.m. Daily mail call takes place until 8:30 p.m. and lights will be out at 10:30 p.m. When Todd isn't working or eating, he will have the opportunity to partake in various sports at the facility. This is wild. They have like sports or whatever, but they have softball, flag football, basketball, soccer, volleyball, and weight training. He can also enjoy music, horseshoes, art, crafts like art and woodworking. I could I could see him participating in some of the sports. I got my AirPods in and listening. Let me run downstairs. Be right back. Sounds good. Yeah, I can imagine they do these crimes while sharing their entire lives so openly on TV. I honestly think it's more of a setup. Like, I really feel like it's a setup. I don't know. I feel like it's a setup. Todd will not be allowed to have more than 5 visitors at a time. And according to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, FPC Pensacola allows each inmate to have up to 10 individuals on their approved visitors list. So, like when you go to jail, you have to fill out a list of anyone that could potentially come visit you. And most prisons have a limit on how many people you can have on your list. So he will have 10 people on his list, right? Um, Probably Nanny Faye, not Julie. She's going to be, he can put Julie on there years down the road once she's out of jail. But Nanny Faye, Savannah, Kyle, Lindsay, um, Chase, maybe Grayson, maybe Chloe. I don't know if they'll want to bring her, but I doubt he wants to go 12 years without seeing her. Um, and then he'll have three more people that he can, outside of just his immediate family. But he can only have five visitors at a time, which could be Savannah, Chase, Grayson, you know, Chloe. They could all go see him at the same time. I guess Julie before she goes. Um, so that's what his day is going to be like. Early, 4:45 a.m. Get up and eat. And from my understanding, when you're in jail, like if you don't get up and eat, all prisons work differently from my understanding. But like when I was in jail that one time, they just brought my plate and like stuck it through like the thing and I got it and it was disgusting. Had I been asleep, I don't know, but I didn't sleep. Um, I know some prisons they bring you to um, a lunchroom where you eat. I don't know if you can sleep through it. I don't know if they make you get up. But either way, he's going to have to be active. I don't think he can just sit in there and weep. I think he's going to have to get up and kind of participate in things. You do know some people have killed people and don't get this much time. I know trust me, I do know that some people have killed people and not gotten this much time. Will there be a chance that he could get out early? Not really. Not like, so this is a federal case, and from my understanding, in Aspen, you can, um, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, federal cases, you have to serve up to 80% of the time. So Todd will serve, I think it's like 10 years and 7 months, I think is that he would serve. He would have to serve like 10 years and 7 months. And then Julie would have to serve like 5.5 years. I went to high school with someone that killed someone in a drug deal gone bad. He was out in 5 years, yeah. I had to leave. What is Todd up to? He's trying to make sure he doesn't have to step foot inside a prison, but we don't know if this is going to work. His attorney has filed, um, what's it called again? Let's see. It's a bond appeal, basically where he's already been found guilty, but when he shows up and turns himself in, he wants the judge to give him a bond so he can get back out so he can get back out and stay out until the judge rules on if they're going to allow an appeal to take place. That is because the U.S. does not play when it comes to their money. I know that's right. Yeah, and the feds they have to do like 85% of their time. Yeah, like 80 or 85, something like that. Yeah. Don't forget about Nanny Faye. I hope the kids are not the only reason they're going above and beyond to stay out. They want to be there as Nanny Faye is battling cancer. I completely agree, True Crime Crazy. The thing about it is Todd's going to serve like 10 years. Nanny Faye is battling cancer. I don't want to say this because I don't want to even put it out there in the universe, but there's a chance that Nanny Faye could pass in the next 10 years. And God forbid if Todd, say she lives 7 or 8 years, and right before he gets out, she passes. And he's been in prison this time. That he couldn't even spend the last 7 or 8 years of his mother's life, there by her side. They are very close. They're a close knit family. Didn't Mike from Jersey Shore have to do jail time as well? He did. And from my understanding, the prison that Todd is going to is a lot like the prison that Mike the Situation was in. They say it's not even like a prison, it's almost like a camp. Like, so. Julie may not be able to visit him when she's out. Student facilities have different rules about people with, that's true, with records visiting, and she doesn't have, that is true. Yes. That is true. I can run down again. My husband is going to start asking me questions. Why? Hey, like, hey, listen, this YouTuber talking about this case. So you keep saying on Todd and his attorney, are they going to try to work with Julie? I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so. I think right now it's been filed for Todd. Like that is, we know that it's been filed for Todd. I think probably in the next few days they're going to file the same motion for Julie. Thank you, Melissa. I'll go check that out. All right, sorry, you guys. I'm gonna go. Is it my Elle Bee Instagram? You said you sent me a story. I never checked my messages. Uh, 20 hours ago. I know someone who was incarcerated and allowed to attend a loved one's funeral. Not sure how federal charges are with that same. Yeah. I would love to have an attorney like in my immediate family. I would stay calling them. I would stay calling them. Like I have an attorney that worked my case when I was, falsely arrested. And when we were going through my case, like I would text her about certain things, but I also felt like she might start charging me for this. She might be like, okay, I talked to Leslie again today. She asked me 3 questions. It took up 10 minutes of my time. I'm charging her $3. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of like, did you think Todd or Julie would get the longest sentence? I actually thought that Julie was going to get more time. I really did because she had more charges. Julie had more charges against her. So we won't recognize him when he gets out with no Botox in there. Mm, that's what he's going to say. He's going to ask if I'm on YouTube again. I love it. So yeah, I want to see because Todd has to turn himself in on January 17th. When does Julie have to turn herself in? So on June 2022, Todd was found guilty of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and tax fraud. As for Julie, she was convicted of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, tax fraud, and wire fraud. So she had 2 additional charges. Um, After their verdicts were revealed, the Chrisley Knows Best star was released on their existing bond under the agreement that they follow several conditions as they await their sentencing. According to court documents, the pair were ordered to participate in the location monitoring program. Through the program, their movements were monitored as they remained within their community. Additionally, Todd and Julie were ordered to participate in a home detention program and abide by all requirements of that program. One condition included that they must use electronic monitoring equipment or other location verification system, which is like an ankle monitor, from my understanding. They may have access to the internet through like the library. I'm not really sure. Oh, I bet so, Aspen. Yeah, married. Sean has told me before, like you should have been a daggone lawyer because you can argue so good. Like I know. It's just I'm always right. So when you're always right, you can always win. I'm just kidding. Um, okay, so the couple who tied the knot in 1996 have remained under home detention since being found guilty. Ty and Julie were allowed to leave their house for employment, education, and religious services, as well as attorney visits, court appearances, and other court ordered obligations, and any necessary medical or mental health treatment. Additionally, the former reality stars are required to report to their probation officer if they spend more than $1,000. Todd and Julie seemingly opened up about their sentencing for the first time during their Chrisley Confessions podcast on November 30th, 2022. Todd said yesterday it doesn't matter. He said they were leaning on unconditional love and faith to get through their difficult time. Todd is Today is what we have. Tomorrow belongs to God because we're not promised tomorrow. While they didn't directly mention spending time behind bars, Julie said that they live every day like it's their last. She then revealed that she was trying to stay strong for the kids. She said, the difficulties I'm going through, how I handle it, the children are watching. If I handle it right, they're watching. If I screw up, they're watching. For me, as a parent, I want to try to make sure that I do the right thing. That I do the right thing more than I do the wrong thing. Well, if you're guilty, and I love you and I don't think you are, but you should have thought about that ahead of time, right? I'm trying to find her date that she's supposed to turn herself in. I don't know if it's the same day. I don't think that it is. All right, maybe. Yeah, I guess they have to report if they spend over $1,000 because their crimes were related to defrauding banks out of money. So I guess maybe they're going to turn themselves in on the same day. I thought it was 2 different days. I cannot find. Um, but yeah, so I definitely think they're going to file this for Julie as well. I don't think they're trying to keep Todd out of jail and not trying to keep Julie out of jail. I definitely think they're going to do what they can to keep them both out of jail. Hey, Gigi. Um, so that's where we're at right now. And I think they're saying that it has been filed. Yes. Okay, so this motion has been filed. 3 weeks, you guys, until he's got to turn himself in. We'll probably find out before then if the judge has approved this bond hearing and if he's going to set a bond. I don't know how long the appeals process takes, how long it takes to be approved for an appeal or declined for an appeal. And then say he is approved, I really look for them to be declined an appeal. Because this judge has been this judge has been like, nope, we're not doing staggered sentences. Like, nope, we're not doing this. We're not doing that. So I would actually not be completely shocked if the judge declined this. I would not be completely shocked if the judge declined an appeal. I feel like you have to go through some steps, and there's like a checklist that you go through to see if it qualifies for an appeal. Uh, but I don't know for sure. And this judge does seem to have been like a little like hardcore. So I hope that this is granted for them. I hope we see an appeal. I can say that I've read things. I haven't dug into this um, trial or their trial, but I do remember reading some of the documents where someone did, in fact, testify saying, hey, listen, I was an employee, and the employee that was like, they said was Todd's lover, did come to me saying that he was going to ruin Todd and he wanted my help in ruining Todd. And so someone testified to that. And then someone that worked for the IRS testified saying that Todd and Julie Chrisley had not paid their taxes and like owed on their taxes. And then come to find out that information was not true. And that person, when they actually come back to the court saying like, I think they wanted, what did they want? I don't remember what they were asking for, but that was a part of their um, evidence as to like why it should have been granted. I think a new trial. They asked for a new trial because the IRS person had given false testimony, so they were using that. But they weren't granted a new trial. So now they're taking the route for the appeal. And I think you have so many appeals, and they're going to appeal this, appeal this, appeal this. I feel like just to do whatever they can to keep Todd and Julie out of jail. Even Savannah and Chase, they are still hanging on to hope that something's going to happen. Even if it's like the last minute, that something will happen, and that if their parents do serve the time, then it's because God, intended for them to serve this time and had a purpose for them. Um, so yeah, someone said they sent me something on Instagram earlier, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not sure what number to look under though, or what name to look under. Yeah, I wish them the best. Hate to see them in prison. Exactly. Here's the thing. This is the way that I believe. If you do the crime, you do the time. That's just the way that it is. Doesn't matter if I like you, if I love you. Broke the law, unfortunately, because you're no better than me or anybody else. If I break the law, I gotta serve the time. Anybody else should. Now, I do. I'm not sure if they did the crime. I think they were framed. I could be wrong. So that's where we're at with that. Um, but I'm gonna keep up with this and stay on top of this to see if this is granted because I'm very interested in to see if Todd and Julie somehow get away with not going to prison. I really feel like he should get less time on probation and have to pay back the money. It seems like they're getting more time than Josh Duggar. And I feel here's okay. Todd is getting the same amount of time as Josh Duggar. Todd and Josh Duggar's time is the same. They both got 12 years. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy though that he's having to serve just as much time as a man that watched babies being tortured? Joe from New Jersey's housewife did a podcast recently on Teresa's podcast stating his crimes were almost identical, and he didn't understand why they got the amount of time they have. I watched Savannah's podcast this morning. She had Emmy on, and that was another good one too. Come to find out, her dad has ALS and dealing. Yes, I did see that. My IG is Elle Bee, I think. My IG is my IG is Elle Bee _ official. I'm terrible at checking messages though, so just put that out there.
What you doing?
I'm on a live stream. What are you doing?
About what?
Todd Chrisley.
How much longer you got?
Not much longer.
Well, Kenny's asleep, and I was gonna say we gotta go to Walmart and get milk and diapers. You wanna go with me?
Yeah, I'll go with you.
You want vegetable soup or chicken nuggets?
I'm fine. I got some peaches and cream I'll eat. Yeah, Josh is a predator of minors. He literally watched an 18-month-old being tortured. You know, children being tortured. 12-year-olds being tortured. So, I'm sorry for my husband coming in and interrupting, but anyways, I'm gonna keep up with this, you guys. If this happens to go through, I'll hop on here. I'll let you guys know. Obviously, when they turn themselves in, I'll make sure to let you guys know. For the life of me, that ain't right. They had no crime on their records or anything. Stand-up people, and they have, they have given to charity. They have, I don't know. They did a lot of good, in my opinion. They've helped a lot of people out. I mean, I've heard people call into their podcast saying like, I was going through cancer, taking chemo treatments, and you guys just really lifted me up and kept me out of a funk while I was going through that. Or, they've helped a lot of people. Some people might look at it and be like, oh my God, stupid little silly TV show. They're nobodies. You don't understand that these people are somebody to some people, because I know, like me and Sean, we could have bad days where we were stressed out, where we were arguing. We could sit down and watch Chrisley Knows Best, and it would just kind of we'd be like, oh, change the mood, because their show is always comical. But by the time we watch their show, we're like in a better mood. So, you know, I do think they have an impact on some people, and I think they've really helped people. So, I have met them. They are truly good people. It breaks my heart. Yeah, I would love to meet them. The law is the law, though. I do understand. Yeah, I do believe if you break the law, you pay the time. I'm leaning towards they were framed. But I would love to meet them. When Todd started with his lawsuit, I was reached out by someone involved with the lawsuit saying, you're going to be contacted by one of his attorneys. I was never contacted. I did end up calling Todd's podcast, just kind of as a joke, more or less. But yeah, I never talked to Todd. I think that it would be cool. Love him and Julie and their family. I think they're great people. They're not perfect, though. They're definitely not perfect. Hey, Jeanette, definitely not perfect people. They have their faults. They have their flaws. And I think that's one thing, watching Savannah on Unlocked, her bringing Chase Chrisley on, and Chase talking about how, I have my struggles, and they didn't show that on the show. Jeanette, thank you so much for becoming a member. You guys, welcome, Jeanette. She is a new LB3 member. Thank you so much. Thanks for allowing the opposite opinion. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. I think they were framed. That's just my opinion. But I also have to be realistic that probably not. And then, if they did it, they definitely deserve to go to prison. I mean, it is just what it is. Do I think they deserve the same amount of time as Josh Duggar? Absolutely not. To be fair, I thought Josh Duggar deserved a lot longer sentence. I thought Josh Duggar's sentence should have been like 20 plus years. So I don't think that they deserve the same amount of time. I was in Nashville for a doctor's appointment. They were so kind and compassionate. Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that. Absolutely. But I'm going to stay on top of this, you guys. As soon as we got some sort of word of if the judge approved this motion, I will hop on here and let you guys know. I haven't heard anything else about Nanny Faye. I need to see if there's anything else out there about it. But you guys, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you guys believe that they committed the crimes? Do you guys believe that they were framed? Do you guys believe that they deserve, 12 and 7 years? Are you guys hoping that the judge will agree to this bail motion, this appeal bail motion? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to run to Walmart with Sean to pick up milk, but I will be back. This is not my last stream of the night. I'm going to do another stream. Update on Madalena Kochikari, missing 11-year-old. You can email me. Yes, Melissa. Candy or Steph, one of you guys put my email address in the chat. Madalena Kochikari, 11-year-old, that is missing. She was missing for almost 3 weeks, and her mother did not report her missing. It was only after the school showed up at her house demanding, to know where Madalena was, that her mother finally said, she's missing. Mother said, I didn't report her missing because I was scared that it was going to cause conflict with my husband. The husband is not Madalena's father, though. That is her mom's husband. So it's kind of almost like resembles the Casey Anthony story, how she didn't report Kaylee missing. They did not report Madalena missing. So we've been covering that. She is still missing, you guys. The mother and the stepfather were arrested for failing to report a child missing. So that's what they have them on right now. Today they had a bond hearing, and we have a little bit of an update. So when I get back from Walmart, we will do an update on that. And then maybe me and Sean will do a hangout stream tonight. I don't know. We'll see. But you guys make sure you have your notification bell on so you are notified of when I go live later after we get back from Wally World. Give this video a thumbs up. It would mean the world to me if you give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. That would also mean the world to me. I'm hoping and keeping my fingers crossed that I can hit 100,000 subscribers in the next few months. Now, my kids, they are so eager for me to get the plaque. My kids are like, Mom, when are you getting the play button? And I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully, in the next few months or whatever. So keeping my fingers crossed. You guys help me out if you don't mind. A free and easy way to support, my channel, if you enjoy my content, is just hitting that subscribe button, hitting that thumbs up button, leaving your thoughts in the comment section below. And yeah, so you guys leave your thoughts. I'll come back here in a little bit. You can follow me over on Instagram, over on Twitter, over on Facebook. I have a TikTok. I always post on Twitter before I go live. I post that I'm going live, and I post what the topic is. That's always. I try to post on Instagram and Facebook as well, but I always do Twitter. Also, members, make sure you're in the Discord. We got a new member. So, Jeanette, check out my community tab, and you can see the link to the Discord. One of the perks of being a member is you get access to the Discord where you get to chat with all the other members, and it's just kind of a fun time. So, yeah, go check that out. I'll see you guys back here later tonight. Bye, everyone.